Okay. Hey y'all, I'm Alexis Miranda, and you are now tuned into Danaya Azure Radio.
Hello, Alexis. How are you?
Girl, I'm good. I'm feeling great. How you doing?
I'm good. So let me tell you how I met this amazing queen. There's this phenomenal play called Love Game
Yes.
that I was introduced to by my girl Seva, because my brother Don Lopez was a part of it, and she was like, "You gotta come see this play. It's awesome. You gotta come check it out." I came in and I was blown away by the acting, the singing, the energy of the cast. So, how did you get involved in Love Game?
Whew, girl. It is quite the story. Okay, so a lot of the people in the cast, they've been performing. This thing has been going on since quarantine. Because at first it started on Clubhouse, and then they took it to a stage
Oh,
play, right? So they've been a family for some time, but they decided to do the stage play again back in January. They brought some of the old cast members along, and then they auditioned for new cast members. And so the cast that you saw, they've been working together since January. Okay, now my role, okay, there was another person who played my role before I came in, who was cast in January, and she didn't work out. So I got the call to do this show 2 weeks before the opening night. So I had 30
wow.
days to learn everything you saw, from the scenes to three monologues to choreography. So I was the new kid on the block.
You said 2 weeks before?
2 weeks before, yes.
My
Yes.
goodness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Child.
And it was one of the castmates, AT. His name is Anton Tate. He's one of my really, really good friends. I've known him for a long time. We've performed a few times on different things, and he was the one who recommended me and introduced me to Rainy, because they had 2 weeks to find somebody. So yeah.
The fact that you were able to come in there and slay like that only 2 weeks before is
Hmm.
insane. So tell me about a little bit about your character that you played during this play.
Oh my gosh, Mary. Well, her name is Mary, and Mary is a very promiscuous young woman. It's hot girl summer every season for Mary. It's hot girl spring, it's hot girl winter. And it's easy, like, for it becomes easy for, like, other characters in the play to, like, judge her and characterize her, and she has a dude that's in love with her, who wants to look past her I don't her ways. And she she doesn't like him, but her character is, like, paired with him because it's like a dating game show. So she's paired with a dude that's in love with her. She's not really in love with him. She for the streets. And like I said, it's easy to judge somebody like her until the end. You find out her backstory. You find out there's a reason why she's in these streets. And so yeah, just a lot of trauma, childhood trauma. Um, yeah, that was pretty much it was pretty heavy. It was heavy stuff.
It definitely
Heavy
was, and I
stuff.
think that was the cool thing about the cast that was there, was the way that you were able to tackle such a heavy subject,
Mm-hmm.
but still um, have it in a sense where people were able to relate to it,
Mm-hmm.
and it went more of a situation of don't judge a book by its cover, as
Yes.
opposed to we're gonna put down this person because of what their actions have been. And it always goes to the fact of you never know what someone is going through, and I
Right.
love the way that each story really portrayed that very, very well.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, it's not an excuse, but we are all products of our environments. how we were raised, what we were filled with. You know, I always tell people like, I see the brain, your mind is like a computer operating system. And so from the time you come out of your mama, you are literally conditioned and programmed every single day. And so we're all just like products of that. And it's like we're all running on these like autopilots, these programs, and creating these scenarios, not even realizing we're creating out of, you know, what we know and what we've learned in the past. And so it's like I always tell people, if you want to like change your life and change what you're creating and the results, you got to change like what's been put up here. So
Yes,
yeah.
most
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
And Alexis Miranda, aka Black Alice, is my guest here on Danaya Azure Radio. So, how did you get your stage name? Because I'm just like, wait.
So it's a play on Alice in Wonderland, but I am black.
I love it.
I ain't no
I love
blonde.
it.
So it's a play on that. Yes, I am the black Alice in Wonderland. And I say that in that, like, girl, I've been going down a rabbit hole. I just, my life has been so crazy. It's felt like magical at times. I just really feel like I've been on this like really spiritual path,
Mm,
very unorthodox. Like, so people didn't start calling me that until the pandemic. I honestly, like, I'm an art school kid. I'm gonna be real. I still don't really know how to interface with like my audience online, like social media. And I was talking to my homeboy out in the pandemic because, you know, that's all we could do. And I was like, I don't really know how to like what kind of content suits me. And he
right.
was like, Alexis, he was like, you have one of the craziest your stories. He said your life is crazy. He said every time you tell somebody XYZ about something that happened, people are like, you lying. There's no way that happened. I'm like, yes, it happened, and I have witnesses. You know, he's like, you just have a really crazy life. And it's like an adventure. He was like, yo, you like a fairy, you like Alice in Wonderland. And then he said, you should do a story time. And I said, yeah, I am like Alice in Wonderland, and I could do a story time. And then I said, Black Alice. And that's how we came up with that. And then I started doing these long format videos on YouTube where I would just tell basically these stories of my awakening, like my spiritual awakening. Like, and so I started telling them and they started getting consistent views, and um people started reaching out to me like, yo, this is a TV show. Like, this is a
Wow.
scripted series. So now I'm like working with people writing like a pilot for it. And yeah, so it's basically, yeah, me awakening, my spiritual awakening. um Me, like, also, you know, we talked about programming of your mind, like me stepping outside of like what I've been programmed with, and like just kind of like what am I trying to say, almost like rebuilding my identity, because I feel
Mm,
like we get told who we are and what we're supposed to be our whole lives. And some of us get to the point where we're like, wait, why? Why do I have to continue to be that? Because people
right.
told me I'm that, you know? So all these really crazy things started happening to me like when I was 19,
Mm-hmm.
like unexplainable. But now that I like kind of know a little bit more about like science and like metaphysics and all that, it makes sense to me now. But in the beginning of my journey, I was just like, what is going on? Like,
It's like, what is this? What's happening? Oh my gosh. So,
seriously.
how did you originally get into acting?
I've always been an actor, honestly. I started professional theater when I was 11. Um, I was just always the kid, like always watching sitcoms my whole life. Always on the fireplace, like singing. You know, I was just that kid. And my mom was a teen mom, so my mom was like, let me put her in some extracurricular activities before she wind up like me, you know. So she just got me involved in theater very early, and I loved it. And, you know, went to art schools and majored in theater. So I've just always been on that trajectory. Thanks to my mom, like, put me in it early.
Definitely. What have been one of the obstacles that you had to overcome being a Black actress in Hollywood?
Uh, Being a woman, being a woman who is very strong minded, yeah, I've always been very Very self-aware, very strong-minded, and sometimes in this industry that is not, it hasn't been celebrated. I've been in this game for a long time, you know, and I'll talk about it. I just put out my first special. It's like a musical comedy special because I do stand-up as well, stand-up comedy. And it's I'm doing a series of mini specials called Black Alice, and they have different subtitles. So my first one is Black Alice, Drama Queen, but I talk about basically my experience being a young woman, you know, outside of race, just being a young woman in this town, and it's been interesting. It's been interesting to say the least. But I would say like being a woman who will be like, no, hell no, what you doing? I'm not massaging you, you know.
Right,
That's
right.
with me. I'll beat your ass in your office. I will beat your ass. My mama a thug, so I got kind of like a little bit of thug in me too. So, so you know, they be looking at this. I'm like, no, but it's like really thug life right here. So
Right.
don't get
It's
it
like,
twisted.
again, don't judge a book by its cover.
Do not judge a book by its cover. No, seriously. So like, yeah, I would say that's just been like my one of the biggest issues because I for a while it had me feeling like this town had me feeling like I wasn't talented. You
Mm.
know, like it was an assault on like my self esteem, and I'm like, well, damn, maybe I'm not talented. Maybe I'm not. So I actually walked away from all of it, acting. I was just, man, I'm just about to go to Africa. I started traveling. You know, I was like, I don't even want to be in this town no more because I don't know. Yeah, certain it's look, I'm like, I'm trying to be PC about what I'm saying, and I don't know
You don't have
why,
to be.
but right. But I've just experienced so much, and not even just with acting, but I was in the music industry too, and interning for big people, and like I said, just saw and experienced so much. And honestly, like the spiritual path that I started going on, like saved me because it empowered me to like focus on other things and to really understand that there is something, you know, we okay, everybody has a concept of God, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the spiritual path that I've been on really let me know like it's way is not bigger, but it's more than just like a pie in the sky type of thing. Like, oh, God is watching you. No, it's like science to the universe. You know what I'm saying? So just also like understanding that and understanding my power, it empowered me in the times where I felt like so many people were in positions, high places in this town, you know, trying to abuse their power, take advantage of me. I was always empowered by the Black Alice journey that I was on. Like, I'm gonna just give you one example. Like when I was 19, I was in my girl's house talking about I have a clown phobia. I do not fuck with clowns. I don't like clowns. They creep me out. And I'm telling three of my homegirls this, and I'm going off. And they like, Alexis, okay, we get it. You've been talking about clowns for an hour, right?
Right.
We leave my girl's house. Just girls, we like, let's just drive down a street in Hollywood and see what's in these streets. You know, just being 19-year-olds. We got a drop top. Girl, a tour bus pulls up on the side of the drop top. They like, hey, we got a show, we got a concert. Y'all should pull up. We don't know who on the bus. We like, is Drake on the bus? You know, we
Right.
19. So we like, hell, okay, where y'all going? They like, follow us. We like, bet. So we follow them. We don't know where we're going. We follow this bus, right?
Right.
The highway splits into two highways. They
Right.
go 110, we go 101 north. This is LA highways. Mind you, none of us are from here. We all college girls from different places. I'm from Texas. So we just it's in slow motion. They go that way. You know, I'm in the backseat like, no, like what so we going straight. I tell my homegirl, I'm like, exit, goddamn exit. I'm mad. So we exit on the side of downtown LA where there is absolutely nothing, like no people, abandoned buildings, broken glass, tumbleweed, girl. It's nothing over here. So we had
Right.
to stop. Like my friend, she goes, "Oh my god!" My friend in the front seat, Jade. Oh my god, Alexis, Alexis, oh shit. Alexis, don't look up. I'm like, what? I look up. Danaya, there's a fully dressed clown in the crosswalk.
Mm-mm.
And he's looking at me, and he's just walking in front of the car. And he's just looking at all of us. After I just ranted about a clown phobia less than 2 hours prior to this, to us seeing this clown in real life.
Wow.
You know, you get what I'm saying? So
Right.
that was like a marker moment for me. So I was having experiences like this. So, okay. And I put this in my special. Like, one of the first managers I had a meeting with represented Halle Berry and Taraji Henson.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I'm about to make it. I'm on. Like,
Right.
I got one of the biggest managers, one of the, you know. But I will just say he went down in the Me Too movement too. He no longer has a business because he was one of the people that got named for, you know, being like, if you want me to rep you, you gotta da 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 da. So I got, you know, anyway, he didn't. I never went back to his office. So, but that happened like right before the clown situation. So it's like
Wow.
I was down about that, like, oh, like, you know. But then when this clown situation happened, that just did something to my brain and my whole perspective. So it was like I was in Hollywood experiencing these things, but I also had this other thing going on in the background with my life where I was like, I need to figure this out. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So yeah. So yeah.
Alexis Miranda is my guest here on Danaya Azure Radio. So, who would you say is your inspiration when it comes to acting, and why?
Okay. I would say number one, I grew up. I mean, this is okay. It's a few. Jesus, I can't say one person. It's a few. It's impossible for me to
That's
say
okay.
one
You're
person.
good.
Okay, I will say like back in the day, who captivated my heart growing up. Um, Jada Pinkett and Vivica Fox. Them two right there, honey. Vivica just her strength and her, you know, she was just here with it. She was fierce, you know. And Jada, oh God, she was just, her ability to be vulnerable. Like, Set It Off is one of my favorite movies of all time. I always say Set It Off is the movie that made me want to be an actress when I was little. Seeing Set It Off, Queen Latifah, you know what I'm saying? That's my shit. So I love Jada and Vivica. They were my girls. And then it was Halle. You know, she was the first Black woman to win an Oscar. And I remember that night. And I remember just being a little girl, just being like, "Ah," like, you know. So I loved Halle for that moment. But now what I will say is my favorite actress of all time, which I would love to have a career like hers, is Helena Bonham Carter. You know who she is?
I've heard of her. What does she act in typically?
So she's in a lot of like weird Tim Burton movies.
Okay.
So because they used to be married. So
Mm-hmm.
Helena is I don't know if you've seen like the new Alice in Wonderland, the live action with Johnny Depp. She's the big headed queen.
Gotcha.
Open the heads. No, no, no. You know, talk like this. No,
You
no, no,
know
no.
what's so crazy about that is like I didn't even realize until recently that the what's in the water. I swear I thought it was rocks. I did not understand that those were heads. I was like, that's where the heads go.
Yeah. That's where the
I
heads
watched that
go.
movie 1,000 times when I was a kid, and like, I never realized that those were actual heads.
Oh yes. Yes, girl. Actual head. So I want to play the woman that put the heads in the water.
Right?
Yeah. So that's the I love her, man. And I love her because she gets like these just like they're always like really weird, offbeat, very strong characters. She plays the villain a lot. I love playing villains. Um, I do. I like yeah. I like to play like almost sinister. Like I love that kind of stuff. So I really love her career. She's dope. She's
That's
dope.
what's up. That's really cool. And I love the fact that you like. I love playing the villain because you played it so well, but you played a sympathetic villain. I think that's
Hmm.
what's really cool about it when it came to the love game. What has been one of your favorite moments working on the love game?
My favorite moments, besides all the fine boys I work with, girl. Oh,
There
it's some of the
definitely was
cutest.
not. Yes, they're very, very, very lovely gentlemen on set for sure.
Yes, yes,
For
yes.
sure.
Yes, really. Um, I would say, because I told you I came on to the whole situation. I signed on like 13 days prior. So there was, I just had to kind of hit the ground running really fast. Um, so what has been some of my favorite moments? I would just say, I don't know if I had a moment, but I will say what I really appreciated about it is genuinely the artists that I've met and the friendships that I've forged through this whole process. I've just met some really dope people in this cast and crew that I feel like I'm definitely going to, we lifers. Like, we going to do life together. And that's really, really dope, to come onto a project. And then because like towns like Hollywood get so it can feel lonely, and it can just be hard to like really feel like your people. So when you meet somebody and you're like, yeah, you a lifer, like that means, from somebody like me, that just means a lot. So I've met, like, I would say I met a soulmate uh working with this cast. I met one of my soulmates, and not in a romantic way. I feel like soulmates can be friends.
Right.
So I definitely met one of my soulmates working on this project, and that's really great. And then also just live theater, just um I don't know
Amazing.
which show you came to, but we had a show last week that was so lit. The
We came.
audience
I
was
came to the
so
Sunday one.
interactive.
That's what I was
Was
in the
it
Sunday show.
yours?
Yes. Wait,
Yo,
hold on. Wait, let me just say. Not only was the cast lit, but the crowd was amazing. The
right,
crowd was such
right.
wonderful energy. And shout out to your girl Didi, because that's how I got connected with you. Because I was right behind her and we were just talking, and she was like, "Yeah, that's my, like, oh man, that's my friend." Da, da, da. And I was like, "Oh, okay, let me, I'm like, oh, she's good or whatever." So I followed you on Instagram and all that. Just beautiful, really beautiful energy. I'm like, I can see where y'all are friends. Like, I really saw a really beautiful personality. So shout out to her for that, for sure.
Dee Dee's my girl. Yes.
Yes, and she was like, "Yeah, she's a comedian." I was like, "Really?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, that's what's up," So, but the crowd was so into it. It was so dope. They were screaming back at the cast and everything. It was awesome.
It was highly interactive. It
Yeah,
really was. I loved it. Oh,
it was
so I
beautiful.
would say yes. That would be probably one of my, also like my favorite moments working on this. Having an audience like that, and just the
Man.
symbiotic, like, back and forth. Yeah, we was feeding off y'all. We added lines to the plate because of y'all. Like, yeah.
Right. It was so funny because it was like you could tell certain moments. I was like, that was not in the script. I know that wasn't in the script.
It was a lot that wasn't in the script. Y'all helped us write
You
in
could
real
tell.
time.
Like
There was a
like
lot
we
of
were literally
improv happening.
improvising the thing as it was going. I could see it. I was like, yeah, that reaction, that was so not in the script. It
I
was
love that.
beautiful though. Like I said, the cast just worked together so incredibly well, and you took a lot of subjects that could have been that are very serious, but you used it as a teaching moment. It
Hmm.
didn't feel like people were preaching at at the audience, but you were teaching people and showing the importance of loving one another and
Hmm.
showing love to yourself, which is the most important part.
Period.
And that's what made it just completely stand out. And like I said, not to mention y'all voices, goodness. I'm like, okay. I went up to there was a couple, Misha, and I forget all the singers. I was like, I need you in the show. I need to have your music, like, because I loved the voices and the energy and the passion. Like,
Hmm.
I cannot wait till this play is on Broadway, and I can be like, I saw when this was a small theater.
Yes.
What I'm saying? I'm definitely
Oh,
gonna be there
yes.
when it's on
Broadway.
Broadway,
Yes.
because I know that it has that ability. And
Talk that
shout
talk.
out to the Black folks that came through, honey, on time. Yes, yes, yes.
Talk that talk. Come on.
It was really dope. It was beautiful to see so much Black excellence.
Hmm.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about that part. It was beautiful to see so much Black excellence because you could tell how much work y'all put into that. And like I
Hmm.
said, the fact that you came into that 2 weeks beforehand, whew, because you had a lot of lines, child.
A lot. A lot. A lot.
But you stepped up to the plate, no questions asked, and everyone did, and everyone had fun. Everyone taught the audience something, and they touched on every single subject.
Right.
And they hit y'all literally hit on every single subject, but no one felt uncomfortable. And that what was
Yeah,
really dope.
that's good. Shout out to Brandon Rainey, the writer,
Yes. Oh, definitely.
director.
Definitely have Brandon Rainey on because my goodness, the like to come up with that and then to structure it and to
Mhm.
have it hit so well, amazing.
It's real special.
Amazing.
I'm really grateful that I got the call for sure.
Mine was
For
definitely
sure.
because you showed up and showed out, Miss Lady, no questions
Oh my
asked.
God. Thank you. I really
Yes,
appreciate
yes,
that.
yes. So if you could give advice to a young girl that wants to get into acting, what would be one piece of advice that you would give her?
Do the work.
Mm.
Just do the work and do it because you love it. Do the work and do it because you love it. Don't do like always check your motives and your intentions. Like everything's about your intention. Like if something don't feel right, don't do it. Don't go. Don't go to that office meeting. If you don't get a good vibe, don't well no, because I want it because he do this. No, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. You know? So yeah, check your intentions, do the work. You can never lose when you really doing the work for the right reasons. Never. Period. And
Period.
sometimes you might have to roll up your sleeves and maybe get a couple side jobs until you break through. I find that a lot of people have problems doing that, so they get sidetracked. But me, I done stock grocery store shelves at night on a graveyard shift. I have. But like again, are you doing this? Is it truly what you want to do? Do you love it? Just do the work. No shortcuts.
Yes, yes. You heard her. Do the work. What's
Do the
important?
work.
Do the work. Real talk.
Just do it. you know.
Period. Yes,
And
yes,
oh,
yes.
I'm sorry, this is a lot of advice, but write down everything what you want exactly. Like understand what type of shows you want to be on. Watch those shows. Yeah, write down everything you want. In a way, where it feels like you already have it. So
Mm.
I do a lot of that to bring things to me, for sure.
This is amazing advice. Y'all better listen to this, honey. Y'all better
No, for
put this
real.
on replay because that is real talk. You know, do the work. Don't take shortcuts because that's how you get caught up is when you take your shortcuts. Period.
Right. Period. That's how you end up hashtagged on Twitter.
Ooh. Gotta go back and erase your tweets. Listen, stop it.
Yeah.
Yes. So when everything is said and done, what do you want your legacy to be?
Lord.
Wait.
That is a question, honey. Lord. Oh God. My legacy. Whew. I do a lot. I'm a multi hyphenate. I would love a beautiful multi hyphenate career like Donald Glover. But with my platform and entertainment, I eventually want to create eco communities around the world where we're like buying like land and families might get an acre a piece and then there's like a community garden, there might be a community daycare, but creating eco communities like that. I want to build one in my hometown in Dallas. I want to bring like farmers markets and stuff to food deserts. Like the town I grew up in outside of Dallas is a predominantly Black town. It's called Lancaster, and it's a food desert. They don't have like grocery stores there. So I want to like bring farmers markets to the community I grew up in. Um, and also one another part of my legacy is creating safe houses for unhoused young artists, like in places like LA, Atlanta, um, New York. Because I've been homeless out here in these streets a few times. So I know what that feels like. And yeah, so that's one thing I want to do is create these like houses where we vet young people who need a place to stay, who need community, and we provide nice facilities for them. And so I want to do stuff like that. And prison reform. Those are those are the things that are part of my legacy for sure.
Y'all see why I love her, right? Y'all see this beautiful energy, right? You see why I had to have her on. I only met her once. I think I barely even met her, but I knew. Literally, I knew by meeting your friend and watching you perform that this is the energy that you would bring.
Birds of a feather.
Real talk, and so what I want to say to you is that I already know that you are going to be incredibly successful, continue to be incredibly successful throughout your career because you have that passion, you have that drive, and you're incredibly talented.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you, follow you, and most importantly, book you.
Oh yes. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, at the Blaq Alice. That's TheBlaq Alice, ALICE. So yeah, that's the Blaq Alice on TikTok and Instagram. You can search me on YouTube. I got a special out called Blaq Alice Presents Drama Queen. That's on my YouTube. Make sure y'all subscribe, like, comment. Trying to get my numbers up. And yeah, that's how you can follow me and like stay tuned with me. And if you want to book me, just go through my Instagram. Just hit me up.
Awesome sauce.
And if it's legit, I'm gonna send it to my management.
Period. Yes, we definitely gotta have you back on because you're doing so many amazing things. So we definitely gotta have you back on another time for sure. Let me know when you're ready.
You. I look forward to it.
As a matter of fact, whenever you have another project, you're coming back on. Let's do it that way.
Okay, we can do it that way.
Because I love your energy and I love what you want to do outside of acting. I think that's really, really powerful and really, really passionate. So that's super fire.
Thank you. I really appreciate you.
Awesome.
I'm out here, we the only ones that can change our situation.
Look. I love it. I love it. Yes.
Well, I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for coming on. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see you in action doing more phenomenal things. So I'm going to go check out that YouTube for sure and go like and comment and share and all the fun things. So
thank you. Really appreciate
you. Have an amazing night. And it was my pleasure.
You too. Absolutely. Peace. Bye.